Well, good afternoon, everybody. It's Wednesday, the last day of school, standing outside about 4 o'clock in the afternoon in the shade. I hope that kids are already outside enjoying the nice sunny weather and throwing water balloons around and getting off to a great start to summer vacation. Before you're out and checked out for the next couple of months, I just wanted to do a little bit of a wrap up for the school year and bring you up to date about some of our accomplishments, the important work we've done this last year, and update you about budget and how it affects next school year's planning. So first, let's talk about some of our achievements and accomplishments for this year. We've shared with you previously that for the first time in our history, we're now rated as a performance district in the state's accreditation system. That's the first time in the history of that system dating back to 2010 that we've been in that status. Really proud about that. We also had 7 of the 8 priority improvement schools move up into performance or improvement ratings this year, so very pleased with that improvement. We've just finished up last night up in Boulder, graduation ceremonies where nearly 2,500 seniors have graduated and earned diplomas, and that continues the progress we've made over the last 7 years, which will now, with this class, probably take us into double digits. So a lot of improvement in that space. We're proud that that has happened at the same time that the improvement of ACT scores and other measures has gone to a more and more positive place. This year's graduating seniors, last year when they took the ACT, did better than any cohort of kids in our history and had a 19.6 composite on the ACT. So we feel good about the numbers, about the quantity and the quality of our graduates, and the things that we can measure, and frankly the things that we can't. As we saw kids giving graduation speeches, I can tell you that our graduates continue to impress all those who are present with their maturity, with their compassion for others, with their interest in doing something to make the world a better place. We're really proud of this group of graduates and wish them the best as they head out and head off to college, the military, or the workforce's next steps. We're also really proud about how we came together as a community back in November and passed Measure 3D, which is a $350 million bond measure, by a 62% vote. You'll recall that that bond measure touches every student, every school, every community that we serve in Adams 12. And it's going to allow us to start taking care of some things that are already underway. You've probably seen, if you live in the Broomfield area, that we've broken ground on our new Anthem K-8 school. That's off and running and on track to be open for the 18-19 school year. We'll start doing our renovation and rebuild project at STEM Lab in North Glen next month. And we'll have 8 other schools in our system that are going to start to get some renovations and attention during the course of the summer. If you want to hear more about what we're doing in the bond project, you can go onto our website at adams12.org to follow the progress throughout the course of the summer. So we feel really pleased with the construction process. Thanks again, community, for giving us those much needed resources to take care of facilities. So given all these great accomplishments and achievements this last year, you're probably wondering about next year, especially around budget. Because for many of you, the last message that you heard from me was in February, where we talked about a worst case scenario that would call for $13.8 million in reductions for next year's budget. I've been wanting to update you on that piece for a while, but until about 2 weeks ago, we really didn't know where that was going to stand. The good news for all of us is that our legislature was able to mitigate the reductions in school funding throughout the state from what we had feared. A lot of things went into it, but important pieces include that they found funding in other parts of the state budget that they allocated to K-12 instead. And a second piece is that these reductions related to the Gallagher Amendment and residential tax rates resulted in a lower reduction in state revenues for school funding at the local level than what they first thought. So instead of doing a $13.8 million reduction because of this additional state funding, the reduction for next year is going to be $6.8 million. And it really falls within 4 big buckets. The first bucket in terms of getting to $6.8 million is that we've made $1.4 million in reductions to the central office for next year, a combination of personnel reductions and some operating budget reductions. A second piece is at the school level. On the one hand, we have some schools that are going to reduce their budgets down for next year because their enrollment is declining. That's primarily at some elementary schools in our system. And then the second piece at the school level is that we're reducing allocations by $500,000 for elementary, $500,000 for middle school, and another $500,000 for high school, for a total of $1.5 million. Impacts of those cuts: at elementary, there are going to be some class sizes and specific grade levels where we might have numbers that are a little bit higher than our targets for average class size, and we won't have the same resources available to mitigate that. We hope that's not more than about half a dozen of grade levels next year. Middle school and high school, we're going to have some classrooms with more kids in them and some smaller electives that we might need to eliminate. We won't know for sure on some of those pieces until we actually have kids back in August and September and nail down our actual enrollment. Beyond those pieces, we're going to compensate veteran teachers who come to Adams 12 from other districts with 10 years or more of experience at a lower rate to start out with than what we've done in the past. That will save some money. And then finally, there are some miscellaneous other reductions that we're going to make that get us to the part of shoring up the $6.8 million for next year. One issue that I know might be on the minds of some of you relates to elementary art, music, and PE, what we call specials. There's been some concern about us reducing down what we do for kids in that space for next year. I want to reassure you that we're not contemplating, and we won't make any cuts that reduce down art, music, and PE from where we've been offering them in the past. What we are trying to do, and we're still in the midst of that work, is find ways, given that we have enrollment declines in some of our elementary schools, to have folks move from smaller schools if they can to larger schools where we can support a full-time position. So I wanted to just let you know that we value specials very strongly in our system. Given the budget challenges that we have, we're trying to economize where we can and move people around as efficiently as we possibly can for next year. I wanted to conclude with a little bit of reference to some work that we'll be doing next year that's budget related and just strategic in terms of its approach. We're going to start convening stakeholders, including parents and staff and kids and the broader community in September, to talk about where we're at as a system and where we want to go over the next 5 years. What are the things that we're not currently doing as well as we'd like, or as broadly as we'd like, or just missing altogether, that we feel like are part of a high quality education to serve kids in this community. And so please know that that's coming. No need to worry about it for now. Focus for now on eating popsicles and going to the pool and throwing water balloons around and enjoying summer and the time with friends and family. But know that as we welcome you back in the fall, we look forward to having this conversation about what we want Adams 12 to be 5 years down the road from here. Take care, be safe, and have a great summer.